So up next we have Jake Hobbs from Wonky Films, and he's going to talk about audience engagement in competitive digital environments, a creative SME perspective. So Jake has recently finished a doctoral program where his research focused on audience engagement and the monetization of creative content in digital environments. Jake works at Wonky, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Cool. As an interactive developer and spends his day developing websites, games, and apps. Jake, over to you.
Thank you very much. So yes, I am Jake, and as you said, I'm an interactive developer, and I'm going to talk about some insight from my recent doctorate project, specifically the problems with engagement in digital environments and what that means for creative producers seeking to deliver original content. So the utopian vision of digital environments is that everyone can now create, share, and distribute content. In doing so, they have the potential to reap the rewards of audience engagement, whether that be fame, fortune, or both. Anderson's long tail argues that the infinite shelf space of the web means that it will consume a greater diversity of content, from popular hits to independent niche content. However, research argues against Anderson and finds that due to the increasing amounts of information available, consumers do the opposite, and independent producers at the end of the long tail actually lose audience share to popular hits whose success is amplified by digital environments. Alberse critiques the long tail, arguing only heavy consumers venture down it, and light consumers have a tendency to consume around popular content. This can be due to the social aspect of consumption and limited time for search in crowded environments, meaning we consume based on the recommendation of others or revert to previous tastes and producers who we have an existing relationship with, thus limiting rather than expanding the diversity of what we consume. Another reason for the limitations in what we consume can be down to what I define in my research as light and deep engagement. Light engagement refers to content that for an audience is quick to consume, easy to grasp, and offers little barriers to entry. For a producer, light engagement content also tends to be easier to produce and can be created with greater frequency. BuzzFeed provides a great example of light engagement content. The list-style articles are synonymous with the site and are quick to consume and tap into easy-to-grasp themes that wide demographics can relate to. For BuzzFeed, they are arguably quick to produce with a tendency to curate content, particularly GIFs, from other sources into one article with little original creation. In opposition, deep engagement takes more audience effort, takes longer to consume, requires greater active participation, and for a producer, deep engagement is therefore harder and more resource-intensive to produce. Independent short films are examples of deep engagement content. These films tend to appeal to a specific, sometimes niche audience. They take longer to consume and require greater effort to decipher narrative, characters, and underlying message. For the producers, the resources required to develop such content are much greater, with more personnel, time, knowledge required, meaning they're produced with much less frequency. The trouble is, the instantaneous nature of digital environments means frequency is key to developing engagement efficiently, making it difficult for deep engagement producers to build and retain audiences, subsequently making it difficult to obtain engagement benefits, such as profiting from original content production. Instead, what we see is light engagement producers taking the lead in digital environments due to the frequency content can be produced. As stated earlier, sites like BuzzFeed curate when creating articles, and recently we've seen a rise in curation-based sites who provide a promise of guiding audiences in worlds of abundance. These curation sites often showcase deep engagement content, but circumvent the efforts of producing it by repackaging the content of others. The frequency afforded by curation as opposed to creation means reputations and relationships of trust can be built and audiences developed more efficiently. This can then be seen as valuable to creators, as the audience size offered by creation sites are often unachievable alone and can offer exposure. However, the long-term value of this exposure is questionable. Content on curated sites is removed from the context of the original creator, creating barriers that make transitioning of engagement back to the original creator difficult, and any potential benefits of engagement, such as word-of-mouth activity or advertising revenue, remain within the sites of curation. Therefore, the original creator is required to reinstate their engagement each time they seek to deliver original content, which, as discussed, is difficult to deliver with any frequency, leaving them behind curators and light engagement producers, subsequently creating the danger that greater value resides in the curation rather than the creation of content in digital environments. This is compounded by a lack of consumer willingness to pay, due to the abundant free sources of gratification in these environments, which make the ability to create deep engagement content even harder without a reliance on work-for-hire roles to subsidize production, which subsequently further lengthens production processes. Thus, the production of original creative content risks entering vicious cycles of production and engagement that makes development drawn out and undesirable, and where platforms of delivery are insufficient for returning the benefits of engagement back to the original creator. This can mean creative talent at the disposal of the UK's culture and economy risks seeing their creative and innovative ideas unfulfilled and growth limited. Thank you.